Hello and welcome. It's the 9th of January 2018. My name is Derek and welcome to the Money Charts channel. Not going to go over charts in this one. 6 hockey picks and 6 hockey games. I'm playing every single game tonight. So far on the season, 2 wins, 2.5 losses on, well, that's on last night. 16 wins and 27.5 losses on the season. Where's that half come from? Well, bad beat last night for sure, and the game between the Vegas Golden Knights and the New York Hockey Rangers, as that was under that of 5 3/4 goal. Finals was 6, and a meaningless goal scored by the Rangers when it was 4-1 in the last minute. After there was a goal scored before that, it was 3-1 with just a couple minutes left, and the final score was 4-2. Because I was under 5 3/4, if the score fell on 6, which it did, I got half my bet back. So therefore, half of a loss. 16 wins, 27.5 losses, a return on investment percentage in the area I'm trying to shoot for, which is around 20%. Right now it's at 17.95%. Let's go over the 6 plays tonight. There's 3 NHL games and there's 3 Ontario Hockey League games for junior hockey. And it's going to be playing these home teams. Every single one of these games. Chicago Blackhawks, the money line is plus 160 on them already. And I like that play as well. But I'm going for the plus odds. I think there's better value as I'm able to get a line of about 4-1 odds on the Chicago Blackhawks. They were on a hot streak, but they've now lost 3 of their last 4 since. And in those 4 games, they defeated one of the top, hottest teams in hockey in Pittsburgh. They lost to Calgary, who are a good team. Islanders, they were playing better. And Boston definitely getting things back together, playing like they're supposed to, competing with Toronto and Tampa in the top of the Atlantic Division. In reading such, we can take a look at Colin Delia is in net. He has allowed 3 goals and 42 shots in the Blackhawks' loss to the Flames on Monday. He has been extremely busy in his 5 starts since being recalled, facing an average of 41.5 shots per game in those games. Delia has gone 3-1-1 or 3-2 with a 2.19 GAA, goals against average, and a save percentage near 95%. They're saying he makes for a good daily fantasy hockey start, thanks to the shot volume. And that's an interesting thing about daily fantasy. You want to look for shutouts and wins. Yes, they're important. But if you can get a goalie that's going to face a whackload of shots, that works out really, really well. Because if you can get the win, and then somehow, saving this percentage of shots has been magnificent. The Predators are playing better. But when it comes down to it, when I'm getting 4-1 odds for a home team, keyword home team, and the National League to win by 2, then I'm going to, unless it's a total mismatch, and it's not, I think I have to take it almost every time. Next up is Calgary, who have won 5 of the last 6. Colorado have lost 10 of their last 13. And Calgary's at home. Calgary is one of the best teams in scoring on the empty and net goals. And I'm going to lay 1.25. There's not that large of a difference between the 1.25 and the 1.5. But what I like about this, I'm going for another half loss, I guess. The way it works out is this. If Calgary wins by 1, I get half my bet back. I get a half a loss. If they don't win, I lose. If they win by 2 or more, then I win a little better than even odds. We got a match up with 2 teams next with an 8-game losing streak on each sides. And I'm going to take the Senators, the road team, and to win by 2 or more. And within Nilsson, the goaltender who's confirmed for Ottawa, he's allowed 2 goals on 13 shots after replacing Hoiberg in the Senators' loss to the Hurricanes on Sunday. He allowed 6 goals on 39 shots in his first 2 appearances with the Senators, though he faces a Ducks team that has lost 8 in a row and are 10-13 on home ice. They are most certainly Not that good of a team in that sense. Now, the play is merely how do you have a team with an 8-game losing streak as a monster favorite, which is where they have the Ducks. It's plus 136 for them to win by 2. I really don't like that too much. Now, there's a little bit of consistency that the teams have recently within their streaks. For the Anaheim Ducks, they have allowed 3 goals or more in 7 of their 8 losing games, and they have scored 3 goals or more in 1 of those 8 games. For the Senators, they have allowed 3 or more goals in 8 of their last 8 games, but in their last 6 games, they have scored 3 goals or more in 5 of those 6, with 2 goals in the other. Well, they're scoring goals, and they're definitely playing horrible defense. One of the ways also considering this is a play on over the posted total. And I was considering that as well. Anaheim's more of a stingy team. I don't like playing overs on. But plus 469. Anaheim should be favored. And even the money line for Ottawa when you're getting the decent price. However, I find this very interesting as far as the empty net statistics are concerned. Ottawa is very good at scoring on the empty net. But Anaheim's pretty stingy when they are pulling their goalie. But with all that being said and the price of plus 469, I just can't pass up on that. And let's quickly talk about Canadian Ontario Junior Hockey. And there's 3 games. We got the Kitchener Rangers going into Owen Sound to take on the Attack. Hamilton Bulldogs and Saginaw taking on the Spirit. Sarnia are in Sault Ste. Marie taking on the Greyhounds. And laying 2.5 goals on each of the home teams. Especially with the bottom 2 teams, Saginaw and Sault Ste. Marie. Very noticeable that they usually win their home games by 3 or more. Relatively close to half the time of their games. And a very good number of their wins are that by 3 goals rather than 1 or 2. There's a lot more 3s than 4 hits. That seems to be a relatively common differential. Owen Sound against the Kitchener Rangers. That's an interesting one. And this is a team that hasn't done so well of recent time. On this road trip against Windsor and Saginaw, they were 7-1 and 5-2 losers, so those would have cashed there. They defeated Owen Sound by a margin of 6-2. And that's who they're playing. So a revenge spot I see in this as well. Other games on the road, Kitchener losing to Sudbury and North Bay Battalion, both of them by a 3-goal differential. And then we have a winner in here. They play a little bit better coming back in here, but not really. 8-1 loss. They win these 2 games, but they would lose by 2 here against Erie. So there's one situation where the 1.5 would win, where the 2.5 wouldn't. London Knights, they get defeated 5-1. So since November the 11th, this team, they had a nice little, they won these games here on the road. And then they lost here 5-2. They lost to the London Knights 6-2. They lost to Saginaw 2-1. They lost to the Sioux Greyhounds 4-1. They lose a lot of games by that of 3 goals or more on the road. As far as the Sioux Greyhounds are concerned, they defeated Sudbury 5-2, losing to Saginaw 4-2. And Barrie Colts, they got defeated 4-2. They only won by 1 against Guelph 4-3. They defeated the Firebirds 7-2. They defeated the Sudbury Wolves 7-4. They defeated Windsor 6-5. And these are different. This is a total different game. But if we look back at other Sioux results, they win 9-3 here. I'm thinking, wait a second, this is the wrong team because this was the part of the other 2 games. That's the wrong sheet that I'm looking for. But as you can see, Yeah, the Sioux plus 164. I need to look at Owen Sound. That's the team I meant to look at. But while I'm here, we can see that just out of numbers as it goes. How many home games have they played? How many times have they won by 3? So 1 out of 1. Then these two early on, that's 3 out of 3. Then 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 4 out of 6, 4 out of 7. And then we have this is here, that's 5 out of 8, 5 out of 9, 5 out of 10. These were losers, 5 out of 12, 6 out of 13. And then there's a 7 out of 14, 7 out of 15, 7 out of 16. And then 8 out of 17. So we're saying close to half the time is what I was wanting to show. And the other result, I see a lot of the similar things, which is the same thing with Saginaw, that pretty much close to half their time they're doing so. And Sarnia and Hamilton opponents, they're not that great. Home teams are the better opponent, are the better squad in each of these games. Let's take a look next at Owen Sound. They're coming off a 4-3 victory at home to North Bay. And then we have 0 for 2 as they beat Guelph. There was the embarrassing loss, 6-2. They're 2-2 since that point. But that's 3 in a row in which they didn't win by 3. This would be 4. 1 out of 6. 1 out of 8. This is where it's looking pretty bad. They've only covered 7 of the last 8 home games for that. 2 out of 9. 3 out of 10. We got 2 here. 4 out of 12. And then a loss here would be 4 out of 13. 4 out of 14. This is a win. 5 out of 15. This is a win. 6 out of 16. This is a loss, 6 out of 17, 6 out of 18, 6 out of 19, 7 out of 20, 7 out of 21, 8 out of 22. So despite not looking like it's doing too well, 8 out of 22 is about a third of the time. 8 times 3 is 24. Therefore, the fair price isn't even plus 200 long term. Looking at these numbers, it's all about the mathematical numbers, basically, as I'm pointing out. They haven't done as well lately, and overall in this season, as far as I'm concerned, for winning by these larger 3-goal numbers. But given the other team they're facing off against, the Kitchener Rangers aren't playing as well. The embarrassing defeat that they have went through, and it seems as if, at least with this game against North Bay and then the win against Guelph, that they're playing better. But as I continue on with the math, if I'm playing at something at plus 227, I'm hoping to win it at least 2/3 of the time. Or 1/3 of the time, rather. So if I make 100 plays at plus 227, if I can come away with 33, 34, 35 victories, I'm doing fine. I need to win a little more at the plus 164, plus 175. But winning 40% is what I would like to get with these ones. Win 2 out of every 5. You need plus 150 lines and a 40% victory to be a break-even player. So if I can get 40% or a hair above it and a hair above the plus 150 prices, and I think I can. As I'm stating, a lot of these teams, it seems it's like 44, 45% of the time, 46%. That they ended up winning by multiple goals. And their opponents, to me, are below average opponents in Hamilton and Sarnia. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.